Welcome to Urban Legends Uncovered, your spine-tingling journey through the world of urban legends and spooky lore. Here's your host, paranormal expert, Mark Sellers.
Welcome to another spine-chilling episode of Urban Legends Uncovered. I'm your host, Mark Sellers, and today we'll embark on a journey into the eerie world of haunted mental institutions, exploring the horrifying tales that continue to haunt us. Let's begin by laying down the historical context of mental institutions, a necessary backdrop for understanding the lingering spirits that supposedly inhabit them. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, mental institutions were, unfortunately, synonymous with horror, neglect, and abuse. What was intended as a safe haven for the mentally ill became a nightmare due to overcrowding, lack of understanding, and inhumane treatment methods. The patients in these asylums were not given proper care. Rather, they were often subjected to experimental procedures meant to control rather than cure. Treatments like lobotomies, electroshock therapy, and restraint methods were not uncommon and often led to more harm than healing. These distressing historical contexts lay the foundation for many of the legends and rumors surrounding these institutions today. Diving into some of the most notorious haunted asylums, we can't ignore the tale of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, also branded as one of the most haunted places in the United States. Originally meant for tuberculosis patients, it later served those with mental illnesses, fostering the conditions for numerous ghost stories and chilling encounters. Visitors claim to still hear disembodied voices echoing through the hallways, and sightings of full-body apparitions have been reported frequently. The legend of the Death Tunnel, a chute originally designed to transport bodies discreetly, adds to its mystery and horror. Then there's the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia, a site notorious for its sordid past and haunted reputation. Ghost hunters and tourists alike speak of encounters with ghostly figures and unexplained phenomena. This institution, operational from the mid-1800s to 1994, became infamous for its overcrowding and abusive treatment, fueling the fires of haunting tales. These locations are just the tip of the iceberg. Each haunted institution has its own unique legend of tortured souls, often centered around specific patients who suffered within those walls. Let's touch upon some specific tales. The story of Old Charlie at the Athens Lunatic Asylum in Ohio is a poignant example. Charlie was a patient who spent most of his adult life there until his mysterious disappearance, only to be found dead weeks later on the premises. His death became an unsolved mystery, and sightings of his ghost wandering the asylum grounds have been reported ever since. His restless spirit, some say, is a manifestation of his unjust treatment and untimely demise. Such stories often embody the collective pain and suffering endured by many, etched deep into these institutional walls, leaving behind an aura of melancholy and dread. Modern reports from visitors, urban explorers, and staff members continue to contribute to the mystery of these haunted locations. Paranormal enthusiasts often seek these places out, armed with infrared cameras and audio equipment, hoping to capture evidence of supernatural activity. These contemporary encounters document ghostly silhouettes in windows, temperatures dropping suddenly in rooms believed to be haunted, and ghost hunters experiencing inexplicable feelings of dread or even euphoria in certain areas of these institutions. Yet while some records provide compelling narratives and photographic evidence, skeptic voices continue to argue that it may simply be the natural decay of the buildings or the power of suggestion feeding the imaginations of those who enter. Exploring the psychological impact of fear and madness woven into these legends is also crucial for understanding their power. Often these haunted tales are reflective of our darkest fears, particularly related to the loss of control over our minds and the stigmatization of mental health issues. The stories act as a mirror to society's historical attitudes toward mental illness, ones that were fraught with misunderstanding and discrimination. It's intriguing how fear of the unknown often becomes embodied in these ghost stories, leading us to question our beliefs, doubts, and our understanding of human suffering. Many urban legends about haunted mental hospitals are built upon societal apprehensions towards mental illness in institutions themselves. Legends tend to reflect societal apprehensions over perceived otherness represented by psychiatric patients. Remember the story of the crying girl from Rolling Hills Asylum? The legend goes that she was a young patient who was abandoned by her family, and her spirit now roams the halls in search of them. Stories like these, while chilling, highlight the failure of institutional care systems and the forgotten souls within them. These stories have deep cultural significance, influencing media and literature immensely. Movies and books draw heavily from these urban legends, feeding back into the cycle of fear and fascination. Films like Session 9 and Gothica exploit these themes, creating narratives where the setting of a mental institution becomes a character in its own right, embodying terror, mystery, and the macabre. They captivate audiences' imaginations, reinforcing the myths while also encouraging conversations about historical mental health treatment practices. It's a cyclical process where folklore influences media and vice versa, continually shaping how we perceive these mystifying places. Moreover, listener stories vividly illustrate personal experiences with haunted institutions, offering localized authenticity to these timeless legends. Some of our listeners may have had their own ghostly encounters or traversed the abandoned halls of these institutions, adding personal testimonials to the lore. These tales serve as contemporary links between our listeners and the storied pasts of these places, often leaving vivid impressions and adding layers to our understanding of these haunting myths. As we wrap up today's exploration of haunted mental institutions, it's clear these stories are much more than simple ghost tales. They are threads woven from historical truths, societal fears, and cultural narratives, which come together to form a tapestry that continues to captivate and unsettle us. Reflecting on these legends offers more than chills. They prompt us to contemplate the way we've dealt with mental health, the humanity denied to countless individuals, and the shadows that linger from those tragedies. If we have added any value today, beyond the supernatural thrills, it's the encouragement to remember and learn from our past, better understanding the line between myth and reality, and to approach mental health with empathy and support in our modern context. I'm Mark Sellers, and thank you for joining me on this spectral journey. Until next time, keep an open mind and let your curiosity guide you. But beware of the echoes that lurk in the shadows.
You've been listening to Urban Legends Uncovered. If you enjoyed this podcast, please click the subscribe button to get alerted when we drop a new episode. And make sure to visit us at www.urbanlegendsuncovered.com. We'll see you next time.